Welcome back. This is Vegas Nonstop, presented by Big Dogs Draft House, Rancho and Craig, and Charlie Palmer's Steak in the Four Seasons Hotel. Now, here again is Jonathan Scott.
Thank you, John Lindquist. And nobody can even talk anymore because everybody's got their mouth full with chicken wings from Chef Sergio from Big Dogs. We got two different kinds here.
Work it over here.
What a voice that guy has.
So good.
John Lindquist?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, John. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about the 400-plus propositional bets for tomorrow's big game. Robbie?
What game?
Hey now.
What game? The big game.
There's a game tomorrow?
I don't know why you can only call it the big game in advertising, I guess.
Trademarks.
Because I'm not supposed to say Super Bowl, I don't think.
It's not a Super Bowl.
And I'm going to tell you once, just once. So, Johnny Dangerously. Rob.
The most unusual prop I found is you add up all the numerals on the ambulance that's going to take Peyton Manning to the hospital. And the total is 23 and a half. I'm taking the over.
You made that up. You made that up.
I take the over on that one too.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit before the show about some of the bets, some of the long shots. Rob, you bet like $500 already.
No, I've marked down $500 worth, but I'm not going to do it. There's some really funny ones. The one I love the best, 4 points. If any team scores 4 points, total points in the game, 4 points, 8,000 to 1
For the whole game.
for the whole game. So it would be
Which
two
means
safeties,
they have to score two safeties.
and it would be 8,000 to 1.
Now
That
we're
might
talking
be
about the
8 million to 1.
safety bet again, because I bet on it 3 years in a row and I won.
Yeah, that one's on
I bet
there.
on it this year.
And the disagreement is I thought that it was 30 to 1 for the whole game, and you guys are saying it was just for the first play.
If the safety is the
First
first
score.
score of the
First
game.
score of the game
is 30 to 1.
safety. Jeff, what's your prediction? Score.
Oh, score?
Yeah.
I think Carolina's going to win 27-24.
That close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
like
close.
it.
Point spread.
I like
Yeah.
your prediction because I'm a huge Panthers fan, so it works for me.
I don't see Denver being able to score 24 points.
No, I don't either.
I
I think it's going to be a blowout.
I have
I
Carolina
do too.
winning by 14.
I think it's going to be
31-17.
42 to 20 maybe, or 18. I really
Really?
think, yeah, I don't see, because Denver's offense is not that good.
Horrible.
Carolina's defense is really good, and I don't think Denver's defense is as good as they think it is. And Carolina's offense, they've been blowing people out all year long.
Well, and
I
here,
mean,
and here's
Wasn't
the thing.
Denver's defense rated the top
It
in the
is.
NFL?
It is. It still is. It's number one defense, but I just think it's overrated. I mean, look at it this way. The Patriots probably played their worst game of the year last week against them, and we're still within 2 points of beating them with 12 seconds left. And the Patriots defense, which is nowhere nearly as good as Carolina's defense, held Denver to 3 points in the second half.
And Jeffrey, you brought up a great point before we went on the air about Denver outside of Denver.
Away from Mile High, it's a completely different game for their opponents. They're not struggling with the high altitude.
I actually like the specials point spread at the win. Carolina minus 10.5 at plus 190. I think they're going to rout them, and I think to double your money on that kind of bet is perfect.
I agree with you. I actually took another proposition bet, which was close to double your money. Will there be a 2-point attempted in the game? Not converted, but attempted.
I think there will. What's the odds on that?
I got plus 190 on it. It's now down to 160.
That's what
And then-
people are betting it.
And then will there be a 2-point conversion? I got mine at plus 330, and now it's plus 250.
Wow.
And I also bet, Jonathan, your bet, the will there be a safety? I got plus 800.
Yeah, I mean, it was 3 years in a row that there's been safeties, which is kind of crazy.
It is. I think it was the New England Giants game that Brady took the safety as the first score of the game, if you remember.
Right.
You know what I haven't seen, and I don't know if it's in there, if it's going to be a tie.
Oh, that's in there too.
Is there? Because there's
It's
never
got to
been
be
a
really
tie.
high
And
odds.
it's not nearly as good as you think it would be. It's like plus 550.
Really?
And we've had 49 Super Bowls. There's never been one.
Never been a tie.
I know.
I know. You'd think that would be a higher bet.
Well, not a tie, but overtime rather.
Well, overtime,
Yeah.
right. That it would end in a, you know.
Correct.
end in a
I
overtime.
agree. I thought that would be through the roof.
The
But
Crazy.
roof. The roof is on fire.
you know, it's funny.
We can't even finish
A
that
lot
up.
of the public money came on Carolina very heavily
Yes.
early in this. It was almost a lot of the professional handicappers in town were surprised how quickly the line went from 3.5, 4 to 6, 6.5, and now we're seeing it before the game come back down again, and now we're seeing 5 and 5.5. And what's even more interesting is that total has really come down from 46 to 44. I don't understand. Listen, I understand that people take Denver with the 6 points. They see value there.
I did.
The number one defense. You did.
Yeah, I got +6. As I was at the window, it was 5.5. I said, "Has the line moved at all?" Put the bet in, and it moved to 6 when I was in.
Your action moved the line.
It sure did. Just call me Billy Walters.
The whale.
They're like Jonathan Scott's at the window. Move the line.
Move the line. Let's give those Broncos an extra plus.
Jeffrey, do you think
He's
people are
probably
betting
chilly.
with sentiment, thinking they would like to see Peyton Manning win a Super Bowl before he retires?
I think it's a combination of a few things. When you talk about professional bettors versus the public, a lot of people who bet the Super Bowl are not the people that are betting year-round, who follow it closely. They come into town, they want to have some action on the game, they like the Broncos, they're getting 6 points, they know about the number one team, and they know that they just beat New England, which is a big thing for a lot of the public.
Right.
But I think guys that follow football, guys like you and I that watch it a lot, believe that, and Rob, believe that Carolina is clearly the better team here.
Oh, they're clearly the better. They
On
lost one game.
On both sides of the ball,
Right.
people fail to recognize how good Carolina's defense is.
Very good defense.
Remember, they were up 31-0 on a Seattle team that's been to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row at halftime, and then basically took the second half off and held on.
Yeah.
And dropped
Yeah,
50.
but you know,
dropped
all year-
50 on Arizona.
All year long, though, the one thing that has bothered me about them is that they do get on these big leads, and then they seem to lay back and let teams get back in the game, and then finish the game off.
They've definitely done it a couple of times. Seattle is one game to look at. However, I really believe they took the second half off just to avoid injuries.
Right. Well, they did it with the Packers too. The Packer game that time.
And they
were
also
big on
did-
the Packers,
and
and they
they-
let the Packers back in it.
And they did the same thing on the road against the Saints, which was like they put up 80 points in that game or something. But I don't think they're going to take the foot off the pedal in this one. They're going to come up fired up. Those defenders are very fast. You can't teach speed. And watch out for Ted Ginn Jr. tomorrow. He's going to be involved in a couple of
How many
big
receptions
plays.
do you think he's going to make? I think
Probably
I've got
about
over,
5.
I think I've got over 3.
I think around 5. You know, Ginn is an interesting player who can be used in a lot of different facets of the game.
Well, that's the other thing about them. They can do a lot of tricky little maneuvers, a little end arounds. They've got a lot of weapons, and Denver doesn't.
No, they
And,
don't.
and their quarterback, and I like Peyton Manning, but he's being held together with duct tape and a prayer.
MacGyver.
Yeah, and one good hit, and you could see the ambulance come out.
Right.
And no one wants that. But he's a 40-year-old guy on his last leg, no
Literally.
pun intended. Yeah, who know? I mean, I don't want to see him get hit. I would like to see him play the whole game. But I just think that he's, this is it.
I'd say the one wing and a prayer bet I'm involved with is I have a buddy in town who went to Arizona State, and we all put in a bunch of money, and we're on Brock Osweiler to be MVP at 150 to 1.
Oh, really?
Go Devils.
What about Demaryius Thomas? How many receptions do you think he's going to have? Over 6?
No.
That's what the parlay card is, 6.
No. I don't know. Demaryius Thomas is a tricky play in that he's obviously their number one receiver. If they're doubling up on him, Emmanuel Sanders and their tight end, I think Owen Daniels could be actually an interesting weapon for Denver, as we saw against the Patriots. He scored their 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Because the cornerbacks are going to be focusing on Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. And I think you also have to watch out for the Denver running backs. C.J. Anderson's an interesting play out of the backfield, and as is Ronnie Hillman.
Boy, Hillman's a fumbler though.
He is. And you know how Carolina loves that turnover
They sure
ratio.
do.
They led the league in turnovers this year.
Yep.
Well, those are certainly some interesting statistics. Well, Jeff and Vanessa are taking selfies through the show. I love that.
Sorry.
Is there no end to the selfie-ness?
Never.
All right, let's talk about beer. Amanda, let's go back to talk about beer.
Speaking of beer, I want another one.
I want another beer. Amanda, how'd you get started as a brewmistress?
I started, like a lot of people do, home brewing. And I wanted to take it seriously, and there's not a lot of women in the industry. So I applied for the Master Brewers program at UC Davis and got
Where's
accepted
that?
to that.
Where's UC Davis?
It's 20 miles outside of Sacramento. And so from January to June this year, I lived in California. And it was a 40-hour-a-week program, and was there and came back and got a job with Big Dogs.
So you grew up here? You're from here?
I did, yep.
Well, cool.
Yep.
So have you come up with your own brew yet?
I did. It's called Underbite IPA. It's on tap right now. And I've also seen it at Rebel Republic and a couple other places around town, Aces and Ales. So
Now cans are new for Big Dogs, right? Coming in cans.
yeah, it's very new.
Really bottled.
Yeah, and we're starting to transition more and more over to canning. It's better for beer.
It's great marketing too.
Absolutely. Our Peace, Love, and Happiness cans are
100%.
amazing.
Beautiful
Yeah,
can.
they're great.
And those are going to be in Smith's locally at the end of the month.
Congratulations.
How cool is that?
Congratulations.
Very, very cool. Thank
Big
you.
Dogs
Yeah.
over at Smith's.
I like their 6-pack holders too.
Oh, yeah,
Plastic caps.
Well, when we can, I snap those in. So when we can, like 10,000 cans, it's a lot of snapping those in.
Let me ask you a question about beer. I was born in Canada. I'm from Montreal. I've been drinking beer a long time.
Canada.
How come IPAs are like all the rage now? They're everywhere. Why?
You know, it's something that was different. Hoppiness is that bitterness, and hops can range from citrus, grapefruit, pine. English hops tend to be earthy, so there's such a range of hops. And it's that bite that you get when you drink it, and people love that. I love it since my very first IPA that I ever had.
Do you have a little bit of an underbite yourself?
I don't, but that's well, it's my dog. She's a Bordeaux Mastiff, and
Yeah, well, that's
She
big,
has,
right?
she has
Yeah.
an underbite.
Yeah.
That's an interesting combo.
So I named it after her, and the T-shirts and the logo's pretty amazing.
Well, we're going to take another commercial break. You're listening to Vegas Nonstop here on KXNT.